camp. Okay? The most dramatic, wonderful thing that's going to happen in the next week is that you're going to change. And you will be different afterwards. And that's the best thing that's going to happen, is that God is going to touch your hearts. God is going to break your hearts. You'll be binded as a team. And you're going to get to serve. And the most common thing I hear in debriefing is, I came here to love these kids and I learned what love really was. Is you're going to see love in your teammates and you're going to see love in the kids that you haven't seen before. And that's going to change you. And that's the most dramatic, wonderful thing. And hopefully that change will also change others in the future. Many of you I've seen before. This isn't the first time I've seen you, because you come back because it's touched your heart and you want to come back and you want to do something again. The second thing that happens is you have your teachers and your translators. Many of the teachers this year are people that are Christians that said, I really want to go. I don't care if you give me a salary. I really want to go. We had several people like that. And the teachers, and especially the translators are usually from an upper middle class background, and they don't even know these kids exist. So even Chief, greatly affected by the camp, he didn't know about this before. So by paying these translators to come to camp with you, you're raising their awareness of issues they didn't have before. And we pray for them to be changers of Mongolia and to catch the vision for this as well. Finally, yes, we hope to bless the kids as well. It's not just about us. It's also about the kids. That you are not allowed to put crosses on t-shirts or share directly about Jesus to a group. Okay? If you have an opportunity, if you have a special kid that touched your heart and you have a time to take a translator that you know is a Christian somewhere and have a personal conversation, that's fine. But you are officially not allowed by the body who's inviting us, which is a government organization, to share the gospel as a group. It's forbidden. And if you do it, or if the crosses are on the tennis shoes or on the paper, and somehow the teacher thinks, oh, they're only here for religious purposes, groups from ECC will not be invited again. Every year they come, they know that you're Christians. And so they're welcoming you as Christians, and the love that you show, they have an understanding that it's from Christ. And I know that because over time I've seen the kids leave the shelter, and I've also seen them at church. The girl that I showed you that from Camp in '97 that was with me yesterday, I found her after she was released from the shelter back to her parent. I found her at church. So they have an understanding, and they know that what you're doing is because of the love of God. You also have a special ministry, especially if you are Hong Kong Chinese, which the first groups that came were mainly not Hong Kong Chinese, just because there's a very interesting history between Mongolia and China, and it's not very positive. And so to see Chinese people that have Chinese blood come and serve Mongolians is especially beautiful, because it's a broken relationship over time of hate and prejudice. And to see people that have their vacation time come here and serve it's extremely powerful, and it's a different form of dying to yourself than if you're American, because of the relationship. So it's very beautiful to see you guys come and to break stereotypes for the Chinese people and for the Mongolians. To see you come and serve is really wonderful. And I think the combination between ECC and Mongolia is, well, you guys are evidence that it's a very powerful connection, because it's been 8 years and it keeps happening. And usually the volunteers it's full. You know, usually the camp is not like looking for more volunteers. It's usually saying, no, we can only take this many, and more people are saying, I want to go. Part of it is the differences in culture. For you guys that are always walking at, super speed pace in Hong Kong, to come and realize that Mongolia is a little different in the way it functions. It's good for you to see yourself and to see a different place. But also, I hope your gifts, your backgrounds, your thinking is very different than the Mongolian thinking. And so it's very nice to get people who are educated, good at business, and from different backgrounds, thinking about Mongolians' problems, emailing me and trying to solve them. And I'm wanting to tell you about what we're doing, just because when you come to camp and you're thinking, what am I doing this week, does it matter? You know, someone, I don't know how many years ago, but I want to say like 7 or 8 years ago, she was at camp, and it was the 4th or 5th day. It was back when I was leading camp. And she said, you know, Susan, I just got this job. I'm making so much money, and I've been praying to God, you know, why did you give me this job that I'm earning all this money? And she said, now that I'm at camp, I know. She said, I know why. I'm supposed to be giving this much to the children of Mongolia. And so for a couple years, she would give me about $200 a month, but that was enough to cover my ministry expenses. And that's something as a missionary and doing relief work. I've talked to people from other relief organizations, World Vision, Norwegian Lutheran Mission, and they tell me, all we do is write proposals. All we're doing is raising money. And I haven't had that problem yet. Thanks to ECC, because I could go and visit all the families and see what their lives are like instead of sitting in the office and writing, you know, proposals, please give me money for this and please give me money for that. But I like to hear you guys' ideas and your gifts. I think there's a very good, I think the culture of Hong Kong is very different from Mongolia, but there's things that the culture of Hong Kong can bring to benefit the culture of Mongolia. And the last thing, besides the tour, but we might eat pizza before the tour, I don't care. Part of the problem of getting your heart broken and torn and falling in love with the kids at camp is almost always we have our favorite kids that we fall in love with. And I just sent some kids, some people last week, just a few volunteers went last week for a couple days, and you know, one of them came back and said, I really want to help Tushin. I just want to help Tushin, you know. And I know what that was like. That was me. You know, I had 2 kids that I prayed for every day from camp, and fortunately, one was put into foster care and the other one is back with her mom, and I believe that my prayers were answered. But part of what happens to you over time is changing your thinking from I only want to help Tushin to I want to help Mongolia, or I want to help these families. Because these families that you're helping in the food distribution, or, and I forgot to, ECC is also not paid for all of the food distribution, but a lot of the families I help, they also paid for food distribution as well, is saying, I don't know if I can help Tushin. I hope I can. I pray for Tushin. But I want to help Bolto, that his family stays together. And transferring your love from one person to a country, which is harder. It's easier to love one person that you've seen and you've met. But to make it more lasting, it has to be transferred to something you do understand. And I really believe in helping people you know. I don't help families that I don't know or that I don't keep up on, because you don't know what you're doing. If you're just giving money to kids on the street, you don't know if you're telling them, oh, don't go home tonight, just wait for another foreigner to come and give you money. So it's very important to know who you're helping, which is another wonderful thing about the connection between FF and ECC, is that you guys have come back every year. So when you gave to the building fund after the building burned, you could come back and see the building, you know, and every year you can come back and see what's happening. So that's also been very nice.